Okay, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Good evening.
I'm Mark.
I'm Britton.
And, well, let's just get started.
Okay.
Alright, so today we watched the boxing match, Rumble in the Jungle. It was a little bit different than what we're used to doing, but we decided to change things up a little bit. And the boxing match itself was Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman.
Pre-grill.
Yes, before the grill. This actually may have been the inspiration for the grill.
Yeah.
You take too many hits, you start thinking about cookware, but I'd actually never seen this fight, and I know me and Britt, we've seen a few boxing matches before. Like we watched all of the Ali versus Joe Frazier fights. We watched a few, I think, Mike Tyson fights. Yeah. I think we watched.
We watched the one where he bit the guy's ear off.
Yeah, we definitely saw that one with Holyfield.
Yeah.
And I think we watched Sonny Liston versus Patterson. I don't know his first name. James Patterson, I guess.
The Twilight guy?
Yeah. No. James Patterson's not the Twilight guy. He's the guy who writes a lot of books.
Oh, that's Robert Patterson.
Yeah. Pattinson, I think.
Yeah. Sears Sparkles, get you out of this.
Vampires would make really good boxers as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But yeah, we watched a few boxing matches before, so I thought it only figured that we'd watch what is considered probably one of the best boxing matches of all time.
Yeah.
Especially heavyweight fights. I'm sure there's lots of examples of other really good fights we can probably watch at some point, but this one just seemed to be the most entertaining. It was, as far as I can tell from all the pre-game interviews and things like that, it looked like that there was, Muhammad Ali was recently retired, or at the very least was, kind of out of the boxing game for a little bit.
Yeah. And
George Foreman was almost 10 years his junior, and was like a rising star. He was actually the world heavyweight champion at that point, and he had, I think, a perfect record. I think they said like 42-0 and like 37 knockouts. So the guy was a great fighter, basically.
Yeah. It's weird to think that at the retirement age that Ali was at, he was younger than we are, and in significantly better shape.
Yeah. If we went into the ring with either George Foreman or Muhammad Ali, we would not be walking out of that ring.
I could take him.
You think you could take him?
Yeah, at the same time.
You know what? You're the same height as both of them, so yeah, go for it. Me, I think that I would just end up being, I think, when Mario's like steps on a Goomba and they're all squished and they, kind of have their little feet hanging out for a few seconds. That's kind of how I feel I would be when I got done the fight.
Yeah, just a lot more blood, though.
Yeah, significantly more blood, but I think most of that would get soaked into the mat. But anyway, let's give general opinions of the boxing match itself.
Well, it started off with a delay. I think George Foreman was purposely like, kind of holding the fight up just to annoy everyone,
psyching him out and everything.
Yeah, and he arrived late, and overall, like the match started fairly normal. I think Foreman came out of the cannon a little bit harder than Ali did at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he came out swinging, and which I'm as far as I can understand, that kind of seemed to be his MO. Just come out, just start battering people with punches, and they go down. Because I think they said that this was the first fight that they had, or George Foreman had, that went beyond like 3 rounds.
Yeah, he was used to ending the fight in 2 or 3 rounds, from what they were saying. And
then he goes up against Muhammad Ali, and it stretches on a little bit further. And as the fight goes on, you can kind of tell that he's starting to get a little bit tired, by throwing all these punches for no effect whatsoever. His legs start shaking, he's sweating profusely.
Yeah, he's throwing wild punches, he's not, making connections.
Like he's falling asleep on Muhammad Ali's shoulder.
He's going out for coffee.
Yeah, so his head wasn't in the game at this point.
Yeah.
And then, Muhammad Ali in the 8th round, he kind of turned it around a bit, and he was like, all right, because at the end of every round he would start, punching in bunches, punches and bunches, and doing his flurries and everything. And in the 8th round, he just unloaded on George Foreman, and then he beat him so hard that his hair probably left after that.
we did see the punch that made his hair fall out.
Every time we were watching it, and every time we see the the really hard punches, I was like, yep, that's what made him name his kids George, all of them.
Wait, they're all named George?
Yeah, all his kids are named George.
Are you?
That wasn't a joke.
I thought that was a joke.
No, that wasn't a joke.
That's pretty funny.
Actually, I could be full of shit. It's just I could 100% be full of shit. It could just be an urban myth I heard. But from what I understand, he named all his kids George.
We did see the knockout punch that was probably the inspiration for the grill itself.
Yeah, it's he was like Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, Doc Brown where he hit his head on the sink.
Yeah, he's like, when I came to in a hospital, I drew this. Doo-doo. A grill? Yeah, but it's curved, so all the fat goes out.
Why? That'll make it taste awful.
No. Okay, maybe, but but we'll make some recipes. You can treat the meat first and everything. It's man, you can make some good grills with that, and it'll be a little bit healthier than a normal burger.
It'll sign every one.
You're gonna sign every grill. Yeah. You don't want to just kind of mass produce your signature on it. You want to sign each one.
Yeah.
Every grill. You're going to make billions of these,
Uh-huh.
Okay.
George Foreman.
And that's why he named his kids George, so he can quadruple his workflow. It's all right, you sign it George Foreman, you sign it George Foreman, you sign it George Foreman, and
I guess
sign it George Foreman.
I guess they're technically George Foreman signatures.
Yeah. It's they're a George Foreman. I think our George Foreman is actually George Foreman number 4. Lucky number 4. But going back to the fight itself, I will say that it was a good fight,
Oh yeah.
I did enjoy it. There was a lot of excitement throughout the whole thing, but I'm going to say that Ali versus Frazier 3, the third one, which is what 3 means. I actually think that was a better fight for me overall.
Which one was that?
That was the one that the referee stopped at the end after 14 rounds. Both of them were bleeding and weary, but the ref stopped it. He's like, all right, this is the last round, but we're not going to have it go forward because Joe Frazier might not make it through it.
Yeah.
And they were both exhausted, but they were each connecting just punch after punch after punch. It was a battle between these two guys. And that is the one thing that if I ever had a time machine or a really good genie's lamp, I'd want to see the outcome of that fight, round 15. Because that was such a good fight overall.
Yeah. Didn't, I forget who won that one.
That was, it was called, and Muhammad Ali got the victory for that.
By technical?
Yeah.
By technicality?
I think I think they called it because Joe Frazier just, he was getting hit an awful lot. He was bleeding, but he was not going down. He was taking it, and he was delivering twice as hard to Muhammad Ali. But his, Joe Frazier just looked a mess, and Muhammad Ali was just kind of yeah, okay, I can take it kind of thing. But it was they were both went down. I remember reading interviews afterwards, after that fight was over, and Ali was I'm disappointed that they called the fight, but I don't know how I could have made it another round against him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm man, this was two titans battling each other.
Mm-hmm.
That was by far the greatest boxing match I'd ever seen.
Was that the boxing match where Joe Frazier's shorts were too big and he looked like a doddering old man?
It might have been. That was the one that was the Thrilla in Manila, I think, that third one, and that was it kind of started off with Muhammad Ali kind of pretending to cry and working up the crowd and everything, and really leaning into the idea of being the heel and everything. But yeah, it was just a great match from both sides, and they don't make boxing matches like that anymore.
No, boxing doesn't really have the the appeal that they did back in the day.
It's yeah, I saw I know we both watched the Manny Pacquiao versus the Mayweather fight, and it was comparing I guess it's apples and oranges. I guess this is a different era
and different weight classes.
Yeah, so comparing these two together were these two fights together were just, you couldn't really do that. One was a more technical fight, and one was just two warriors just beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, which to me is a more entertaining fight.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I guess it's kind of like, this is just going to be for me because I know you don't really watch baseball, but, it's kind of like the difference between a pitcher's duel and, like, a high-scoring game. It's like a pitcher's duel is more, can be considered more intense because, usually they end like 1-0 or something like that between two great pitchers who are just not giving up anything, and like you have to fight and squeeze for every hit and every yard or every run that you get, versus like, oh, this is a 10-12 ball game, like everyone's knocking it out of the park. Like those are more exciting, but one of them's more technically, I guess pleasing, But me personally, like, even though I like a good pitcher's duel, I want to see 4 home runs in a game. Everyone just knocking it off each other, But and that's kind of the same thing with the boxing matches. Like, while one may be clearly a more maybe satisfying fight if you like the pure like sport of boxing kind of thing. The other one is clearly much more fun to watch.
Yeah, it's like the difference between a sword fight and a fencing match.
Yeah, I get behind that. I guess that's a little bit easier than my pitcher's duel baseball thing.
Yeah. Or I'm trying to. Yeah, I guess that's the best analogy I can come from. Like a more strategic one versus a more the physical limits of a person.
Yeah, it's like It's like a it'd be like watching an Arena League football match and then an NFL football match where one may be more high scoring than the other one, but one of them can be more technically sophisticated than the other one.
It's like watching a Romulan ship come in and versus a I have no.
It's like the Millennium Falcon going against the USS Enterprise. Like one of them is clearly a stronger contender, but the other one is more explosive. So that's why you root for the Enterprise, because it's bigger. I think. Actually, I don't know anything about Star Trek.
Well, Star Trek. I guess an argument could be made that it's Star Trek versus Star Wars. Star Trek more of the cerebral, technical. Technical venue, while Star Wars is more action-based.
And space wizards and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember reading something that Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying that, the Millennium Falcon would get destroyed by the Enterprise because of its size difference and everything. And I'm like, I don't know. They could just, like, stick onto it like they did to the Star Destroyer. I mean, Millennium Falcon did a pretty good job against that. I mean, it didn't beat it, but, it got away.
I guess, like, it's... The Millennium Falcon, I would guess. Like, the Millennium Falcon's like a smuggling ship. Yeah, it would do that. Though,
scrappy.
Yeah, the Enterprise versus a Star Destroyer would probably be a...
That'd be interesting.
Because I think a Star Destroyer is a bigger ship.
It's like, I think that the Falcon could beat the Enterprise if they just turned it around and did the Holdo maneuver. They just go to light speed right through the Enterprise. It's like, the Falcon's not going to survive that one either, but they still beat the Enterprise.
Yeah, though, I kind of think that that was probably one of the best scenes of the new series, even though it was in a movie that I didn't really care for. I want to say that the maneuver of going light speed through a ship, it was phenomenal.
I like to think that when they went against when they spun around and tried to go against the Enterprise, they just turned the ship, like, their shields up, so it just kind of it just goes into the shield and it just dies that way. Like, didn't expect that. All right, Scotty, you can turn the shields off now.
Though I'm trying to think of the actual ramifications of if that were to happen, because something the mass of an entire ship ramming another ship at light speed, I would imagine, would have consequences that would be a very, very big explosion.
It would actually take out 3 solar systems nearby.
I was going to say, it might actually have, like, it would be like the equivalent of a supernova.
It would be an explosion so massive that it becomes the single strongest point in the universe from then on.
It's the next Big Bang.
Yeah, and it's another competing Big Bang that's like competing with our universe.
It's going the other direction.
It's a it's a universe that's growing inside our universe, and eventually it's gonna win, in maybe 4 million or 4 billion years.
I imagine they keep it at bay, but they set up a toll booth in between the two.
I remember when we were playing Minecraft, and you created that giant explosion, and and then we had the Badlands that you couldn't go to because it would crash the server.
It was a there was a zone you could not go to. Like it was kind of funny. It was like the zone was allowed to exist. You were not allowed to observe the zone. The act of observation was the thing that destroyed the universe. And
that's what happened. If you go into that, anywhere near that zone, like that's why they have the toll booths there to get you around it. Because if you go into that zone, like your ship and everything just kind of collapses into a singularity.
Oh, I was kind of thinking
the entire universe gets destroyed when you go into it.
Oh no, it was like. You go through the toll booth, and it's the same universe, but everyone's, like, wearing lederhosen.
Oh. We had two far different interpretations.
Like, we have interpretation... Like, I had an interpretation you would have had.
I know, and I had the interpretation you would have had. We switched interpretations. You walk into it, and just observing this second universe causes the first universe to collapse. It's like, wow. What'd you have? Oh, they're wearing funny clothes.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but they have weird pants.
It's like, okay, I guess that's cool also.
Yeah? You want that in your sci-fi movie?
Move me.
Move me.
Move me. Yes, actually, I think that'd be a great sci-fi movie. Like, we can do a spin-off of Star Wars. I liked Episode 8, by the way. I think it's one of the best of the series. The entire series, I mean. But it's really more of a default thing. Because, like, Episode, 5, Empire, that's great. That's gonna be at the top. Star Wars, Episode 4, that's gonna be the second.
Yeah.
And then what do you have? You have Return of the Jedi, which I don't like. You have the prequels, which aren't very good.
No.
And then you have in the sequel trilogies, I think 8's the best of the sequel trilogies. So
really,
yeah, I like 8 better than 7.
No, I like 7. 7 by far better.
7 is more fun, I'll say, but 8 is more technical and superior. I like the things that they did in 8 more than I like 7. 7 was just kind of a rehash, and I was like, that's fair.
Yeah, that is fair. I thought the problem with 8 is that a lot of it didn't go. And I know that was the point that it didn't. Nothing goes as planned sometimes. Mm-hmm. But to me, it just seems like a lot of the, it kind of didn't go anywhere. It was just a series of points.
I can get behind that. Like, a lot of the problems could have been solved if they just kind of like talked to each other. But again, there's the overarching theme of the movie that I think really tied it together. Of the whole thing was just about failure, and I'm like, it kind of makes sense in the context of all that, and that's why I really liked it. Like, I've seen it a few times, and I do find that the silly parts I like to make fun of a lot because they are silly.
The whole casino scene.
Yeah, the casino scene and everything like that. Like, all that stuff is so silly that I can only laugh at it because it's stupid.
Yeah.
But then the good parts are really good. I can just like wring my hands together like, ooh, this is really fun. So, I'll say what I said before, and I'll always say it, which is, even the bad parts of Episode 8 are not the worst thing I've seen in a movie before. Yeah. And it's not even the worst thing I've seen in a Star Wars movie before.
Yeah.
So it gets a pass. Like, I can make fun of it and then move on and like the good parts.
I thought they, I genuinely thought they wasted the death of Luke Skywalker. Spoilers.
Oh, yes.
I kind of thought that I thought it would have been a better thing if instead of they fire that big laser and gain access to the secret base, like as they fire the laser, Luke Skywalker appears and blocks it with the Force, then crushes the AT-ATs and forces what's his face, Big Nose.
Oh yeah. Adam Driver.
Yeah. Forces him to the ground.
I like what they did because Luke died as the I guess the technically best Jedi in the world.
Yeah.
He fulfilled what Jedi should be doing, which is he faced down an entire army and got achieved his objective with 100% peaceful means, without using any kind of violence or anything like that.
Yeah, I guess it's just.
Yeah, I know. We want to see something cool.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like, there was a lot of shit that I was like, yeah, this would have been a lot cooler with this. But looking at it as it is, I'm like, you know what? It could have been a lot cooler than it was, but I'm not upset with what I got.
Okay.
So.
And what else? Like the light speed scene was a very good, very good. Even the opening, was very well done with Poe going.
And I like the fight with Rey and Big Nose teaming up and fighting those guys. I thought that was really cool. I mean, there's a lot of really cool things, but I think we can both agree on one facet, which is Episode 9.
Yeah, it was categorically awful. No matter
if you liked 7 more than 8, or if you liked 8 and didn't like 7, or if you didn't like either, or if you liked both, I think everyone can agree. Wow, 9 is bad.
Yeah, I'm kind of. It's kind of weird that everything that they set up for 8, like all the lessons they learned, they immediately forgot.
It's like, I think we both talked about this, where it probably would have been better if they kept one director through the entire trilogy.
Yeah.
Instead of mixing it around a little bit, because it was like, all right, well, I'm setting up a bunch of things here with Episode 7. He's like, okay, I see what you're doing, but I do want to move this in a different direction. I think that we can reach different ideas that haven't been done in Star Wars. So I'm gonna cancel some of those and bring some other things up there. He's like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna cancel these things you did, and I'm gonna bring back the Emperor. Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah. And it might not have also been the directors, because the first trilogy also had multiple directors, and that turned out all right. But it was just the argument I had for the first the Episode 8 was significantly worse than Episode 9.
Yeah.
Where it was just just point a series point of just go here to do something so you can go somewhere else.
Like I remember as we were watching, because we watched it twice, pretty quickly back to back too. Yeah. Just to make sure that what we were seeing was real.
Just to make sure that we weren't the issue.
And I remember I had a lot of fun watching Episode 9, but there was so many different little bits that I can only say that should have been done, because I think that would have been a lot more interesting. Not even interesting, I guess, because we're just so used to doing shtick and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's. Everything is shtick with us. First off, there was excuse me.
The hell?
There was that one alien.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. He just had one line, and he was probably the best part of that movie.
It's like Lando asked him to do something, and he turns around and says, "Okay."
Yeah,
the Cookie Monster.
Yeah, and it was phenomenal.
It was like, man, why couldn't he be the hero?
Yeah, why couldn't he have been
the Lando?
Yeah, not why couldn't he have replaced Admiral Akbar's big-eyed dumb son?
Oh yeah, Jimmy Akbar, Yaddle Akbar.
Eddie Akbar.
Eddie Akbar. The one thing that I remember we were talking about with it was, and this would have been just a good thing to do, I think, no matter what, even ignoring the shtick, was when they were downloading the Sith language into C3PO.
Oh yeah, in C3PO.
Why didn't they just continue with that? Every now and again he would be talking, and then the Sith, his eyes would turn red, and the Sith language would come out.
He has this duality now, where he also has good and evil in him, constantly fighting, and he's terrified.
He's like, I will wait. I believe I will wait in the ship, and I will destroy you all. Oh, what did I say? Oh no.
And that would have taken, a kind of shitty character such as C3PO and, made him exponentially more interesting.
Like, okay, what have we done with C3PO throughout this entire series? Well, he bitches at a bunch of different people for 90 years.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much all he's ever done.
It's like, alright, so he gets built by Darth Vader. Oh, spoiler alert. He gets built by Darth Vader, and then he bitches about that for, 15 years in the trilogy, the prequel trilogy.
And then he gets his brain scrambled.
And then he's found by Luke, and, he bitches at Luke for the next 15 years. And then then decades pass, and then he bitches at Rey and Finn for the next couple years. And, that's it. That's the C-3PO arc. It's like, it would have been a lot funnier or a lot better or more interesting if he just had a little bit of evil in him and it stayed.
Yeah, and now he has to, it's now a problem that he has to deal with. Mm-hmm. Especially if there's a scene where the team is depending on him.
Yeah, he has a character arc.
Yeah.
Actually, I just thought of this now, but maybe to spice things up with C-3PO's character, because we've seen enough of him, a lot of him, but C-3PO in love? Maybe he finds another C-3PO droid. I don't know what they make. I don't know how robots, fall in love, but maybe like a C224. Yeah. And it's like beep 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 beep. Yeah, it's got maybe he was in love with R2, I don't know, but they beep and they talk to each other, and he buys the other robot flowers, and he's trying all these different romantic gestures. He's wearing a straw hat, and he gets flowers that are not really flowers, but something stupid that computers would like I don't know, programs or something, or floppy disks.
I imagine whoever he falls in love with would be unconventional, like a metal pipe extruder.
Or a something that something that's just based purely with logic, not even logic, just it has one function and does
pure
it.
function.
Yeah, and he likes that. He likes the rigid, unmoving nature of this function.
Yeah, like a tire vulcanization mechanism.
It's like, well, what do you do?
Oh my.
Okay, then he comes back with the flowers, but it feels unrequited because it doesn't pay attention.
It doesn't have it just keeps on doing its job, and he feels spurned, or not spurned, but rejected.
Yeah, and he starts he can mope around a little bit, and then he gets advice from Lando, and Lando teaches him hey, you want to get that robot's attention? Let me tell you how to do it. And he tells him all these. That's a robot again. That's the whole noise I made. Then he gives him all these pointers, and then at the end of the movie, he finds Lando in bed with the.
Yeah, that's what I was going.
Listen, you can't fight love. Let me deal with this, honey. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Because Lando, tried to bang the robot in the Solo movie, so...
Yeah, Solo. Oh, my. That was another stinker.
Yeah, it was just... I didn't like Rogue One, I didn't like Solo, and I didn't really like Episode 9.
Yeah.
And so I think at this point, it's I don't know what they're gonna do with Star Wars, but it's gotta be something else.
Yeah, they really need to... I don't really know what they can do, because...
They can stop.
Yeah, they might. You have to... I thought Snoke was going to be the end-all with everything, and they killed him off, and spoilers, in Episode 8. Really, in fact, now that I think about it, they killed off Palpatine, spoilers, in the same way. I can read your mind. You're picking up your weapon. You're going to strike. Literally both the same exact thing.
And I don't get Palpatine's plan for literally the entire Star Wars saga. Episode 1 through 3, it's alright, I'm gonna corrupt this youth and, use it to gain power. I get that to a certain point, but a lot of his plan involves, go ahead, try to kill me, Mace. Go ahead, try to kill me, other guys, and see what happens. And then, here comes Darth Vader to save the day and not have him die, so he's alright, now there's another youth I want to corrupt. Yeah, kill me, Luke. Go ahead and kill me. Alright, I'll do it. And then here comes Darth to save the day again. He's like, just let me die.
You're ruining it.
And then episode 9 is like, another youth to corrupt. Go ahead, kill me, do it, please just do it.
Do it, granddaughter. Spoilers. Just spoiling everything.
It's like, spoiler, the ship sinks in Titanic.
Like, I don't think the Star Wars universe is as passionate as it used to be back in the day. I don't think people are, Snape kills Dumbledore. Just
spoilers. I was just about to read that one.
No, you weren't.
I know, I already read him.
I don't think people are as devastated. I think people have kind of learned to let it go with this franchise.
With Star Wars, they're like, listen, whatever. I might see some cool shit. I might not. I don't know. As long as I get to see cool sword fights every now and again, I'm happy. And yeah, so like when Star Wars was first out, in the 70s and 80s, I'm sure it was it was like really big and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
Don't spoil the fact that spoiler alert, that Luke is Darth Vader's son.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler. And don't spoil the fact that these two kissing, people and the guy that is trying to nail Princess Leia, that they're really brother and sister.
You.
Oh, you guys aren't into that? Like, that was George Lucas just kind of being like, alright, now, well, I think actually what I read...
Meanwhile, J.R.R. Martin's like, this guy's spitting.
It's like... He's like, what if the entire... Sorry, you caught me off guard.
Sorry about that.
It's like, you know what? What if Luke and Leia knew they were brother and sister from the beginning, and they didn't stop at the kiss, and then they went on to rule a kingdom? That will be the Game of Thrones I'm gonna write. It's like, alright, incest, sword fights, incest. I remember reading an article that there was one character, I can't remember his name now. Reek. Theon Greyjoy. He's just a little asshole. That's all he is. That's his character, little asshole.
Uh-huh.
And in the books, he meets someone, he falls in love with her, and then he finds out that's his sister.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, oh shit, like, oh well, they don't do anything, but he's just kind of like, yeah, this girl's fine. This girl's good looking. It's like, that's your sister. Oh no. So anyway, the guy who played him, like when they were trying to cast the person that would be his sister in the show, like they were going to cast his real life sister, Lily Allen.
Why?
And well, here's the thing: he was like uncomfortable with that. The actor,
no shit.
He was like, I don't know if I want to like, like make woo eyes at someone who's my sister. That's like incest. And the creators were like, do you know what show you're on? Like, come on, man.
Well, yeah.
Like, yeah, but this is all fake, though. This is fake incest. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
No.
And George R.R. Martin's like,
do it.
Hire her. It's like, that will be the capper to my thing. That's what he called it, my thing. My saga. Go ahead.
No, I'm hoping they didn't do it.
No, they didn't. They hired good. Someone else. They hired his second cousin.
His cousin.
Yeah. No, but what they ended up, this is a little bit off topic from incest, I guess, which is fine. Apparently, I found out just recently that George R.R. Martin, he's still working on the 6th book.
Yeah.
And fun fact, like, the show has literally started and ended in the time it took him to even, to get done the 6th book. Because he said in like 2005, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna finish this book 6 hopefully in the next year or two. And he just hasn't. And he's, I know he's bitching right now because he's like, man, I never should have done this show because now, now people have too many expectations for what book 6 is going to be like. And I'm like, dude, you had like a decade and a half to finish
15
this.
15 years.
Like, get off your ass and fucking write the thing. But whatever, art takes time. But I hear that he was going to be up to book 7, but I think he said that book 6 is going to be his last. He's going to pretty much combine book 6 and 7 into one book and kind of like, this is over, the show's over, like, you guys, I have no more tricks left for you guys, so There you go. Just enjoy it.
Did he say what the holdup was? Like what he was doing, the entire time he should have been writing the book, other than not losing weight?
It's not nice.
I'm sorry.
He was writing. I know that he was writing other things, which is, I guess, fine. But I don't know. Like, I feel that when you promise someone in 2004 to have a book done by 2006 or 7,
and
it's 13 years later, and you're bitching at people who are bitching at you about, hey, where's this story at? Like, I'll release it when I want to release it. Like, at a certain point, I kind of feel like you're not in the right. Like, again, I understand art takes time and everything like that, but I guess at a certain point you kind of have to just bite the bullet and do it before it becomes like your posthumous work. Posthumous.
Yeah. Like, though, I think Does he have children? I can't imagine.
I don't know. He probably does.
Because I know Frank Herbert's son took over the Doom franchise after his father died.
And I remember Conan was making jokes about it. They had a George R.R. Martin lookalike, and he was like, "All right, we have exclusive footage of George R.R. Martin's house," and it was him just swimming naked and, not, and like playing pinball and just not writing, basically. He's like, oh, he's sitting at the typewriter now, what's he gonna do? And he like brings out a yo-yo or something. And I'm like, you know what, this is fine. And mind you, this was like, I think like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's become a joke at this point, so I feel confident to say that, come on, George, let's get it together, because I liked the books enough that I want to see it end at some point. I want to read the conclusion, because I read the first book. Chris gave me the first book.
Yeah.
And it sucked. It really was. And here's a spoiler. It's basically nothing happens and then dragons are born.
Yeah.
That's the whole first book for you. Like, I just saved you, like, I think like 20 hours of boredom. And Chris gave me, or lent me that book. And the only reason I continued with the next one was because he had it, and same thing to Harry Potter, when I think about it, but he had the book, and because there was one character I really liked, which was Tyrion, which is the one that everyone likes. And so I read that one, and it was a little bit better. And then book 3 he had, and I read that one, and it was much better. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna continue on with book 4 and 5, and they were okay. But what he did was he was like, oh, book 4 was gonna be too big, so I broke it up into 2 books, 4 and 5. So they kind of go on, oddly enough, at the same time. Like, the beginning of book 4 is the beginning of book 5, just from different, different points of view. And it was kind of neat and everything like that, but book 3 was the only one that's good. So at this point, book 6, I'm just like, I just want to get this over with and done. Like, come on, man. Like, it's probably going to be like 1,500 pages.
And I'm sure he's not. I can almost guarantee he's not doing that, because I think he's in a joint production of a video game. The same people who do Dark Souls.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think there's been much released about what it's supposed to be about. But yeah, it's supposed to be a collaboration.
A Dark Souls / Martin joint.
Yeah, which I can't. I really can't imagine. I don't really know anything else, any other books that George R. Martin has done.
He did some cookbooks. No, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just trying to think, like, what, because to me, after playing Bloodborne. Like, they have a very kind of, in-depth world creation style,
lore and everything.
Yeah,
I would like to see a collaboration for a video game with George R.R. Martin and Guillermo del Toro. I think that'd be a pretty cool. None of them are video game makers, but they, apparently they both work with video game people. So
yeah,
and to tie it all together, Suda 5-1, the guy who did No More Heroes. And
okay. I'm still heartbroken about
Silent Hills.
Yeah, Silent Hills. That was such. I don't know what Konami was thinking.
They decided they didn't want to make money anymore.
I guess.
But you're playing the. I know right now you're playing Death Stranding.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people have claimed it was a walking simulator, and for the most part it is, but it does manage to stay engaging, and there's a you know me, I love my intrigue, so there's a lot of intrigue and a lot of
baby shaking from what I can see.
Oh yeah, you have to rock the baby if it's crying. You can, if you so choose, shake the baby, though it doesn't like that.
And have you shaken it so much that it responds or retaliates?
Yeah, it just cries more.
So it's it just won't shut up. So you have to do that until all right, well you can't mute the remote, so I guess I have to coddle the baby.
You have to gently rock the baby. If you rock it too hard, he will shake it like a Polaroid picture. He will. He'll shake the baby.
Rock the babe, don't shake the baby. Rock the babe, don't tip the babe over. Maybe. I know. Like I said, I've only watched you play a little bit of it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, a little bit of. I've seen you play quite a bit of it, and it's I know the baby's in a jar.
Yeah, he has a baby in a jar.
A baby in a jar that he kind of
he wears. That he wears the baby.
He wears a baby jar, and does he have to clean and polish the baby jar? Or
as far as I know, the baby is in its own environment.
He just puts the jar in the washing machine so the glass gets all nice.
I don't
dishwasher.
know. I don't know how the jar is cleaned. They don't really go into how to clean the baby in the jar.
See, this are the things you got to know if you're going to have a baby. It's
if you're going to have a jar baby, you need to know these things.
It's okay, so here's they should have a tutorial these are your jar baby do's and jar baby don'ts. Jar baby do: rock the jar baby gently, be nice and soothe the jar baby. Don't throw the jar baby off a cliff. Don't do: zip line with the baby, keeping it secured in your palms. Do not breakdance with jar baby.
Do: feed the jar baby with the fish flakes provided. Don't submerge the jar baby in a hot pool of water,
or you will not have a jar baby anymore. Do: play oh no. Do: play peekaboo with the jar baby or other fun games. Don't play Risk with jar baby because you will lose. It's that fucking jar baby's too good. Jar baby do: talk to the jar baby or sing to the jar baby. Jar baby don't: yell at the jar baby or berate the jar baby.
Do: play video games with the jar baby and hold the jar baby. Don't play football with the jar baby.
Do: wash the jar baby in warm tepid water and scrub gently. Don't kick the jar baby into a volcano.
Do: dance with the jar baby. Don't bowl with the jar baby.
Do: caress the jar baby every 3 hours or so. Don't shoot the jar baby into the vacuum of space with a rocket.
Do: spend time with the jar baby and build a relationship. Don't send the jar baby back in time to assassinate the Tsar.
It's man, there's too many fucking rules for all this.
What can I do anything with this thing?
Well, yeah, you saw the do list, scrub it, do something. Just don't send it back in time, throw it in lava, or shoot it to the moon.
I'm just gonna put it on a shelf.
Fine, that's fine. Do put the jar baby on the shelf. Don't put the jar baby on the shelf.
Do wash the jar baby in a hot bath. Don't wash the jar baby in a dishwasher.
And that's all the jar baby stuff that I think we have. I don't have any more jar baby.
I think it's best to get off the subject, to begin, before we go too far.
Doom, 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 doom. Jar, jar, baby. No? Okay. I thought I had something there. Word to your baby. You know, I think the reason that skit went on for so long is because the term jar baby is just it's a good
term. It is a very good term. What else is it, though?
I know. No, that's 100%.
It's a jar baby. It's a baby in a jar. It belongs in the Mutter Museum.
I'll have to. I know eventually I'll probably end up playing that game.
Yeah.
Just because it's downloaded onto the PlayStation. But I'm probably going to put some space between it just so that I can go into it kind of fresh, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, alright, because I've been telling you the whole time that the jar baby's just a nuke.
Yeah.
And so far it hasn't proved right. But
it's on a big delay if it is.
It's like, what wire do I cut? Cut the cord! Cut the cord! Umbilical cord. Texas T. That's all I have. Disarming a jar baby.
Yeah, it's really the only thing I guess you can do. Yeah.
Other than abandon it.
I guess you could just throw it away.
Leave it on the side of the road with like maybe one of its favorite toys and then drive off.
You leave it in a basket in front of someone's doorstep.
Oh, the heavens answered our prayer. A jar baby. It's like, huh. Oh, well.
And another baby got a city.
This is why I'm telling you we don't have babies anymore.
Mr. President, the babies can't be detected. There's nothing we can do.
All right, well, what I'm going to do is we're going to get our baby roundup posse, and we're just going to go city to city, and we're going to take all the jar babies that we can. These jar babies are just, they were a fad for a while, but there has to be regulation about them.
Mr. President, these jar babies are Americans.
You know what, Ted? Just this once. Don't give me this America bullshit, all right? These jar babies are, some of them are good, decent, hard-working jar babies, but some of them are nukes. Can't we just regulate the jar babies? Maybe take the nuke part out?
Mr. President, it is every jar baby's right to have a nuke.
You know what? Fine, Ted. Fine. You play with your jar baby then. Thank you. I told him. I warned him.
So I guess you don't tickle the jar baby or it'll go off.
Tickling the jar baby is that's the trigger mechanism.
That's why it's in a jar.
It's like a tickle me Elmo. Only instead of, laughing and buzzing, it kills you in your entire city.
It kills you and in a 5-mile radius.
Yeah, so, I guess it's not 100% like the Tickle Me Elmo, but there are similarities.
Yeah, but man, what a way to go. Like, 1 minute you're tickling a baby, and the next minute you're being judged.
Yeah.
There's no transition. It's, you're dust before your brain can even sense it.
Oh, hey, where am I?
What is this play? Oh, the baby.
It was the jar baby, wasn't it? It was the jar baby, yes. Come forward and be judged. Is this the whole, weighs more than a grain of rice kind of thing? No, we don't do that anymore. It was embarrassing. We couldn't let anybody in after that. So.
It was a ghost town.
So no, we just kind of, it's like a tally mark. If you, every time you do something bad, we put a happy little tally mark right over here. If you do something good and noble, we put a happy little tally mark over there. And if there's too many tally marks, then we beat the devil out of you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. That was good. That was a good Bob Ross.
That was a good Bob Ross.
Bob Ross is apparently St. Peter. Or I guess St. Bob Ross.
I can't think of a better St. Peter to have
than Bob Ross.
Like, can you really think of a better person to guide you into the afterlife?
Charlie Sheen. So I'm just guessing that's not a popular answer. Look, he's all sinned out. He's got to be.
You'd think so. I have no idea what Charlie Sheen's been up to.
Like, once he got done sinning, people stopped paying attention.
Yeah. He was, after they kicked him off 2.5 Men, I don't think he's really done anything other than,
sin.
Yeah.
I do remember it's kind of funny that when they kicked him off of 2.5 Men, I think his replacement was Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, it was.
And it's like, listen, I like Ashton Kutcher, but from Charlie Sheen's point of view, like, man, that's gotta be a hard fall.
Yeah.
Like, listen, we can get someone else to replace you, Charlie Sheen. Like, oh yeah, who are you gonna get to replace me, Charlie Sheen? It's like, alright, we'll get Ashton Kutcher. I'd like to see you try. That's all I see. I don't know how 2.5 Men theme is, so it's Sanford and Son now. And that's it.
I think they should have gotten Emilio Estevez.
That would have been fucking awesome. That would have been great.
They're cousins, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. Or half brothers or something.
Something like that. I know they're related somehow.
Like, you should have seen them when they were on Game of Thrones together. Oh boy, was that interesting.
Were they? Oh, I get it. Oh.
Yeah, it was, that was an interesting season, to say the least. I'm gonna keep on going with this.
You're not giving up that charade.
Yeah, and one of them played Pom Mom, the
accommodating.
Yeah. And the other one played Cho-Cho, the
invasive.
They were bakers. Yes, that's how I would do the Game of Thrones. It's gotta be better than how it ended.
Yeah, I don't know how it ended, but I hear a lot of people were not thrilled.
I never watched a single episode of the show, but I did catch the recap. And although I was like, yeah, the ending made sense because I read the book, so the ending makes sense to me. I can still understand. I was like, yeah, this was kind of anticlimactic.
I do wonder if that's why George R. R. Martin was a little upset about doing the show because they did the thing that he probably would have done, and now he has to do something different.
Or I like to think that
it's going to take him another 15 years.
I like to think that he didn't tell them how it was going to end, so like, you go and do what you think it's going to end like.
Yeah.
And they did it, and he was like, oh my gosh, that was so much better than what I had planned. Oh man, the last novel was just going to be line dancing. Oh, man.
Or conversely, like, he told them how it was going to end, and they aired it, and the people hated it. Like, now I got to do the whole damn thing over again.
All right, so where did I fall in that line dancing idea? It's like, yeah, I guess no matter what it is, like, and this isn't just that show, but this is like series finales in general. Really strong and popular television shows, like, it's kind of hard to wrap up everything, in a way that everybody's satisfied with.
Like, Sopranos had one of those
very controversial, yeah. And while I've only seen the first 2 seasons of Sopranos, and I know obviously how it ends, like everybody else in the world does, I can say that while it is kind of strange, it is very much what I think the guy was going for, which was a show that had people talking for years, had an ending that would never be forgotten.
Yeah. And, that was smart on his part.
Yeah.
Like, how many... would that wrap up in, like, 2005 as well?
Yeah.
So, like, 15 years later, we're still here talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think, some of the great... that's, like, one of the great series finales. And I can say that because, like I said, haven't watched all of the show. I've seen enough of it, but I haven't watched all of it.
Yeah.
Just like just like the one New Heart season finale, which ended, which everyone talked about for a while.
Yeah.
And Mary Tyler Moore had a good ending, and
dinosaurs,
and Fuller House or Full House. Actually, I like the dinosaurs ending.
What was the Full House ending?
Nothing. They just kept on doing They kept on living their lives.
There wasn't one.
I think she got back with Aladdin at the end, and that was the
end. I wonder how. Though now I think I am curious about some of the like lesser known shows or or shows that were quasi-popular. Like, how did Perfect Strangers end?
Oh, that also ended like dinosaurs with them freezing to death.
They go to Meatballs.
Yeah, they go to... that'd be great, actually. That'd be the perfect way to end that series. They go to Meatballs and they...
they climb a mountain and freeze to death.
I was going to say they go to Meatballs and Balky's no longer welcome there.
Oh, and he finds out about Balky's past.
Yeah, No. I meant that he's become too, Americanized. And, like, he tries to... Like, he can't go home and, he turns to drink with Cousin Larry. And Cousin Larry, because Cousin Larry can't go back to America because of, the prostitution thing.
Yeah.
And so they both go on a wild bender to end all benders, and then they wind up on top of a mountain and they freeze to death.
So I'm going to give you one thing. Okay. I'm going to tell you about, a little bit unrelated. So this is spoilers territory, and I was watching the show The Leftovers.
Okay.
And did I tell you? Do you know the plot of The Leftovers?
I know nothing about The Leftovers.
So it's an HBO show wherein, for some reason, 2% of all of Earth's population disappears suddenly.
Okay.
Just out of nowhere. It's a blink.
It's a rapture.
No one knows what it is. But I think it was something like 200 million people just up and vanish.
Okay.
So. It was a big deal. Like, a lot of people are upset. There's memorials. There's, a cult is kind of formed around it. And, but, in the background of it all, like, one minor, like, subplot of the, show was that, celebrity something Appleton, or the guy who played Cousin Larry from Perfect Strangers, was one of the disappeared.
Okay.
And it was like a brief clip in season 1, and that he disappeared. It was like someone watching a news program. And then in season 2, it was like a TMZ thing where they find him in Mexico faking his own disappearance.
So this is a comedy show?
No, it's not. It's a very serious drama. It's one of the most depressing shows I've ever seen, but it has this absolutely hilarious subplot to it with Cousin Larry from Perfect Strangers.
It's like, that is great. They should have built the whole show around that. That's how I would have...
Like, it's 3 seasons long, but I really hope... Like, they just have a small 4th season, revolving around Cousin Larry.
It's like, that's like an Arrested Development plot where, someone just fakes their death or fakes their disappearance and just goes to Mexico and they find them. It's like, oh, and Cousin Larry, he's over here. He didn't really disappear. What an asshole.
Yeah. And he's mourning his friend Balky. I forget who plays Balky.
Bronson Pinchot.
Is that his real name?
That's actually his name.
Yeah, he's more because Bronson Pinchot disappeared.
So he wanted to disappear with him.
Yeah, because he didn't want to be in he didn't want to be in his shadow.
They tried to replace him with Ashton Kutcher, but it just didn't work. And on that note, Rumble in the Jungle.
A very exciting fight. Didn't know where it was gonna go, but you kind of later on did see, and it was very unexpected that a man coming out of retirement at 32 wins a fight against in
his prime champ.
In his prime 24-year-old monster.
Yeah. I definitely thought it was an interesting battle. There was battle, yeah. That's what it was. It was definitely an interesting fight. I liked it a lot. Although it might not be the best fight I've ever seen, it was definitely exciting, and there was just a lot of great moments in it. So I thought it was really good. So check it out if you can. All right,
it's on YouTube.
Yep. A little shout out to YouTube. They give us $400 every time we shout out to them. And that's not true at all.
We're helping them out.
It might get us sued, so...
Yeah, we're helping them out. They need the publicity.
Yeah. It's an up-and-coming little thing. So go ahead and visit this www.youtube.com if you can. All right.
Hey, all right.
See you later.
A toodaloo.
That'll hold a little SOBs.